Hello, one hit point wonders and Roll20 users. One of my players recently asked me about some of the macros I used, and I realized I had not set up any of those tricks that I usually use when I'm running a Dungeons & Dragons game in Roll20. So I decided to go ahead and get those set up today, and I realized this was a great opportunity to do a quick recording and show you some of these things that can make your life as a game master and as a player using Roll20 much easier when you're actually playing the game. This will definitely speed up your game. So for this demonstration, I've created a goblin here, and I'm going to use this goblin to set up these extra tools that you're going to use while you're playing the game. Normally, when you're playing the goblin, you could open up your character sheet. You can go in here. Roll20 will take a minute to render the character sheet in your browser, and then you can click on your abilities, and then everything will show up in chat, and you can play. But there's a much quicker way to do this. All right, and that's using your token action bar as well as your macro bar if you're the player. You can use the macro bar for the monsters as well if you're the GM, but it's not quite as handy, and it keeps those up there all the time, even if you're not using that monster. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. So when you click on this token, you'll see there's nothing in the macro bar. There's nothing that shows up in the token bar. But we want some things to pop up there to make using this monster a bit easier. So I'm back on the chat screen, and I want to highlight this because this is very important, because Roll20 has a unique feature where if you click up in the chat bar, it'll actually show you the code for the last action that was actually done in Roll20. So I'm going to roll for initiative. Oh, I forgot to select the token. That's very important. Select the token, roll for initiative, and you see initiative pops up. So you hit the up arrow, you see the code pop up. You can grab that, and I'm going to delete it because I'm going to be coming back to it, and go to your attributes and ability section. Now, these are your attributes for your character sheet, and on the right-hand side, there's a section for abilities. You're going to click the add button, and you're going to click the edit button right here. You have the options of rearranging them. You can delete them if you decide you don't want one later, or you mess it up real bad and you just want to start over. I'm going to call this initiative, and I'm going to paste in the code from the initiative and save it. And for this one, I want to show as a token action. Now you have a couple options here. I'm going to select that one because I want it to show up here as a token action. I could also throw it down in the macro bar, which would put it down here if you're showing your macro bar, or I could literally just roll the ability from here if I wanted to, as you see right there. All right, but I want this one to run as an action bar. Now you notice nothing has popped up yet. That's okay because it'll only load when you, so I unclick the token, re-click, hey, there you go. Now you have the initiative pop back up and you can roll initiative. Now you can do this with way more than initiative. So with this goblin, I've got a nimble escape ability, I've got a scimitar attack, and a short bow attack. So whenever I do these attacks, goblins, you want to play fast, fast and furious, kind of like they do in Savage Worlds. You want to play fast and furious, so you don't want to have to keep going into the character sheet and have it render every time and whatnot. That's just going to slow down your game. So you can set this up in advance as the game master. All right, so I've selected the code for the nimble escape. I'm going to go in here, add a new one, edit it. We're going to call this nimble escape. Save it, add it to the bar. Now we want to do our scimitar attack. Oh, I forgot to get rid of it, but that's okay. It's a good accident that I showed you this, because when you hit the up arrow, it only shows the last thing that was rolled. So if you accidentally left your code there from the last one, that's okay. Just delete it, hit up again, select your new one. Short sword, not short sword, whatever that word was. And last but not least, short bow. Get rid of that, push up, grab the last one, copy. Short bow, and paste it in, and select OK. And I want to make sure I set these as token actions. And then when I select the goblin, all of my abilities are up here. I can roll for initiative. Let's get rid of that code. We don't need to see that. Initiative is rolled. I can make his, display his nimble escape attack. I can use his short bow attack. Use his short sword. Oh, I misnamed it. That's okay. So you can fix it real quick. Because this goblin is using a scimitar. There you go. And everything's back in order. He's got his scimitar attack. He's got his short bow. Now, this is good for your monsters as a GM. So everything will pop up here. It'll only pop up for the monster you have selected, and you're not cluttering up space for the other creatures while you're playing the game. But for a player, maybe you have some things like, say, you are playing this goblin. So this is your character. All right. Now you don't want to have to click on the token every time for it to pop up there. You can actually just show in the macro bar. It'll tell you what the creature is and what the ability is. So for you, you'd have your character name and your ability, and then it would throw them up there. And the GM can even do this too. If if you don't want to bother with clicking on the tokens and whatnot, you can show all of these down here if you want to. And then when you click them, Nimble Escape works just like it does from above. Oh, remember that one, initiative, you always have to select your token. Always forget that. That's okay. So there you go, folks. A nice, easy way to manage your abilities. Now, the one thing I do want to say is for players. You have way more abilities than monsters do. So you could fill up this top bar and this bottom bar, and I'm sure there still would be abilities that you don't have space for to set. You'd have buttons all across your screen. So I highly advise you select your most usabilities, the ones that you would definitely save you time, the ones you use all the time, and put those ones on your macro bar. Put those ones up here on your token action bar, and use those as your quick reference abilities. If you have other ones that you need to go into your character sheet every now and then for, because you only use them like every now and then, like a rare use spell or something like that, that's okay. You can just go into your character sheet and use those later on, and you don't have to put the extra clutter in your screen. Just put what is most useful for you here. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful. All my options are there, and have a great day. Thanks.